5,000 range. And then 24 hours later, Alexa Filippo, she went on ESPN and she was like, well, the players still aren't happy with that. And a lot of people are like, wait, why? What's going on? Like 1.1 million, that's a huge increase, because if you guys remember, the maximum salary in the WNBA for this past season,
the WNBA has recently made headlines with a proposed maximum salary of $1.1 million, along with an elevated minimum above $220,000 and an average salary of over $460,000. At first glance, this looks like a groundbreaking step forward for women's professional basketball, signaling that the league is finally prioritizing player compensation. Fans celebrated the announcement, viewing it as a historic moment for the sport. However, insiders and multiple reports indicate that the headline number is not guaranteed. The $1.1 million figure includes conditional revenue-sharing bonuses, meaning players would only reach the top number if the league's financial targets are met. Sources suggest the true Supermax base salary lies closer to $800,000 to $850,000, with the remainder contingent on league performance. For players, this is a crucial distinction. The difference between guaranteed pay and performance-based incentives could create uncertainty, making it difficult to plan financially. The WNBA's proposal on paper would represent a dramatic raise for hundreds of players, particularly for those at the lower end of the pay scale. For many minimum salary players, even modest increases would significantly improve financial stability, offering better support for housing, travel, and off-season training. Yet, the union, WNBPA, has publicly expressed skepticism. They argue that the deal falls short of their primary goal, a true revenue-sharing model, where salaries scale directly with the league's income, ensuring that players benefit proportionally as the league grows. While the league frames the proposal as uncapped revenue sharing, insiders indicate that the triggers for these bonuses are vague, leaving players without clear path to guaranteed earnings. The union believes that without real alignment between player compensation and the league's growth, the risk remains disproportionately on players rather than shared fairly. Furthermore, tying substantial portions of compensation to performance or undefined revenue benchmarks introduces uncertainty, potentially penalizing players for circumstances outside their control, such as team performance, scheduling, or fluctuating broadcast revenues. The ongoing negotiations are as much about optics as they are about money. Both the league and the players' union are keenly aware of public perception. The league wants to appear player-friendly, highlighting maximum salaries and framing the proposal as historic, while the union uses public statements, interviews, and strategic leaks to maintain leverage. Fans often find themselves caught in a whirlwind of conflicting reports. A flashy headline is quickly countered by union criticism or insider revelations. Social media amplifies this cycle, spreading both accurate and misleading interpretations, leaving the public unsure whom to believe. The tension reflects deeper structural issues within the league, including the need for transparency, predictable salaries, and proper valuation of players' contributions beyond just high-profile stars. Kelsey Plum, widely regarded not only for her on-court prowess, but also for her leadership within the players' union, recently dropped a significant hint. The WNBPA may be targeting a 50% revenue share, mirroring what NBA players have long enjoyed. At first glance, the demand seems entirely logical. If the NBA, the world's most profitable basketball league, can allocate half of its revenue to player salaries, why should female athletes, whose dedication and skill rival their male counterparts, be entitled to any less? It is an argument rooted in fairness, equality, and the undeniable contributions that women players have made to growing the sport. From grueling travel schedules to rigorous practice and game commitments, WNBA players have sacrificed as much as anyone, often in a professional environment that historically undervalues their labor. Plum's statement, while seemingly straightforward, carries layers of strategy, signaling both ambition and negotiation tactics designed to leverage a rare moment of opportunity for the league's athletes. However, the reality behind this seemingly simple comparison is anything but straightforward. Unlike the NBA, the WNBA has never consistently turned a profit, making revenue unpredictable and fluctuating from year to year. Factors such as game attendance, television ratings, sponsorship deals, and broadcast rights create financial volatility. While the league has seen positive growth in recent years, fueled by rising interest in players like Brittany Griner, Wilson, and the explosive breakout of Caitlin Clark, these numbers are still modest compared to the NBA's billions in annual revenue. Allocating a full 50% of revenue to player salaries in league that is only now approaching sustainable profitability would require delicate financial balancing. Unlike the NBA, where a robust profit margin allows flexibility for large salary allocations, the WNBA must weigh player compensation against operational costs, marketing, travel, arena usage, and long-term growth strategies. Miscalculations could endanger the league's stability, affecting not just star players, but the hundreds of athletes who depend on the WNBA for a professional career. Adding to the complexity is the lack of transparency surrounding union demands. To the public and media, the specifics of what the WNBPA is requesting remain largely speculative. The union has not released a formal list of detailed priorities, leaving analysts, journalists, and fans to piece together intentions from interviews, subtle comments, and leaked information. Every statement is scrutinized. A single comment about revenue, bonuses, or contract structures can be blown up into a full-blown narrative about what the union wants and what concessions might be on the table. This opacity fuels both excitement and confusion. On one hand, it allows the union to negotiate with maximum leverage, keeping the league and fans uncertain about the next move. On the other, it contributes to a whirlwind of rumor, misinterpretation, and misinformation, making it difficult to assess the realistic chances of success for a 50% revenue share. The implications of a successful negotiation are massive. Achieving a 50% revenue share would not merely adjust salaries. It would redefine the economic power and professional respect afforded to female athletes. It would set a historic precedent, sending message to leagues across women's sports that fair compensation and transparent revenue sharing are non-negotiable. This is more than money. It is validation of decades of effort, visibility, and growth driven by women who have consistently fought for recognition in the shadow of larger, male-dominated leagues. It would establish a foundation upon which future players could build, enabling sustainable careers, more competitive compensation, and stronger bargaining positions for years to come. Yet, the stakes are equally high if the union overreaches or if the league pushes back aggressively. The WNBA operates in a fragile ecosystem where alternative opportunities exist, such as Unrivaled, Project B, and Athletes Unlimited. But none of these platforms replicate the exposure, stability, or long-term infrastructure of the WNBA. If negotiations stall or collapse, there is a risk of lost momentum, decreased ratings, and uncertainty that could affect not only the stars, but also the minimum salary players who depend entirely on the league. Timing is critical. Push too hard and risk destabilizing a league still in growth mode. Push too cautiously, and players may miss a historic opportunity to secure lasting financial equity. Every negotiation in professional sports is a blend of strategy, timing, and perception, and the WNBA is no exception. Plum's hints about a 50% revenue share illustrate the fine line between aspiration and feasibility. They are designed to energize players, maintain leverage, and remind the league that women's basketball is experiencing a cultural moment that cannot be ignored. At the same time, they underscore the tension inherent in the system. Achieving true equity is not only a matter of principle, but also a matter of timing, economics, and public perception that in the end. The story of Kelsey Plum's comments and the 50% revenue share target is more than a negotiation. It is a narrative about ambition, fairness, and the long struggle for recognition. It highlights the fragility of the WNBA's growth, the delicate balance between aspiration and realism, and the transformative potential that equitable revenue sharing could have for the league and women's professional sports as a whole. The coming weeks will reveal whether these ambitions become reality or remain aspirational dreams, with consequences that will resonate far beyond the basketball court. Meanwhile, alternative leagues such as Unrivaled, Project B, and Athletes Unlimited have emerged as competitive options, offering higher pay and new opportunities. Many members of the union's negotiating committee have signed with these leagues, signaling potential alternatives if talks with the WNBA fail. Yet the existence of these leagues depends heavily on WNBA players' talent and visibility. Without the platform the WNBA provides, player value would decrease, and alternative leagues could not sustain themselves independently. The stakes are immense. A strike or league shutdown could devastate the sport, particularly for minimum salary players whose careers depend entirely on the league. Even stars with endorsement deals could see momentum falter. But the most vulnerable players risk losing both income and exposure. Recent successes, like Caitlin Clark's record-breaking rookie season, have generated unprecedented attention, providing players with leverage. However, momentum is fragile, and any decline in ratings or fan engagement could weaken their position. The union faces a timing dilemma: push aggressively while interest is high, or risk negotiating during a potential decline in public attention. Critics have also questioned the NBA's influence over the WNBA, suggesting that it limits independence. Yet the NBA provides critical infrastructure, arenas, staffing, operational support, and legitimacy that alternative leagues cannot match. Project B and Unrivaled offer temporary opportunities, but cannot replace the WNBA's full-season operations, fan engagement, and media coverage. The NBA's support allows cross-promotion, shared broadcast networks, and integrated marketing that elevates the league's revenue and visibility. In essence, while NBA involvement may appear controlling, it is also what enables sustainable growth. Ultimately, this negotiation is about more than money. It is a test of trust, transparency, and respect. Players are asking for a guaranteed path to equitable compensation that reflects their contributions. The league wants to maintain stability while growing the business. The $1.1 million figure is bold and eye-catching, but the real story lies in the details, the timing, and the structures that will define the WNBA's future. For players, the negotiation is about securing their careers, influence, and a legacy. For fans, it is about understanding that behind flashy headlines lies a nuanced struggle for fairness and sustainability. The outcome of this negotiation carries weight far beyond the boundaries of the WNBA itself. For years, women's professional sports have fought for recognition, respect, and fair compensation, often navigating a landscape dominated by male leagues with vastly larger budgets and higher visibility. In this context, the WNBA has become more than just a basketball league. It is a symbol of progress, ambition, and the struggle for equality. Every decision made in these negotiations sends signals, not only to players, coaches, and league executives, but also to sponsors, media outlets, young athletes, and fans worldwide. If the league secures a deal that guarantees equitable compensation, transparent revenue sharing, and meaningful growth opportunities, it will establish a model for how professional women's sports can thrive. Conversely, if negotiations result in compromised deals that fall short of these goals, it risks reinforcing the narrative that women's leagues must operate with less security, less recognition, and fewer resources than their male counterparts. The stakes are monumental, and the pressure on every party involved is palpable. The tension in these discussions is not just financial, it is deeply emotional. Players are negotiating for more than just numbers on a contract. They are fighting for validation of their labor, their skill, and their influence. Behind the public statements and media headlines are stories of dedication, sacrifice, and perseverance. These athletes have spent decades honing their craft, enduring grueling schedules, overcoming injuries, and navigating a professional landscape that historically undervalues their contribution. The current negotiations are the culmination of those sacrifices, representing chance to finally secure the recognition they deserve. Yet, at the same time, there is the looming fear that the window of opportunity could close. The WNBA is at a peak moment of cultural relevance, fueled by stars like Caitlin Clark, whose performances have captured the attention of casual and hardcore fans alike. Momentum, however, is fleeting. A delayed agreement, a stalled negotiation, or public perception turning negative could weaken player leverage and reduce the urgency with which meaningful change is implemented. Every leak, every statement, and every reaction on social media is amplified, creating a charged environment where missteps could carry long-lasting consequences. adding to the complexity is the fragile ecosystem surrounding women's professional basketball. While alternative leagues such as Unrivaled, Project B, and Athletes Unlimited provide players with negotiating leverage, their existence is heavily reliant on the foundation built by the WNBA. Players may use these options to pressure the league, but without the WNBA's visibility and platform, their long-term value could diminish. This interdependence makes the negotiation a high-stakes balancing act, where ambition must be weighed against practical reality. A deal that overreaches may destabilize the league, risking the careers of those who are most vulnerable. The minimum salary players who depend entirely on the WNBA for income, exposure, and professional development. For these athletes, failure in negotiations could mean the difference between continuing a professional career and facing an abrupt end to their aspirations. The broader implications extend beyond basketball. Sponsors, media companies, and international sports organizations are watching closely, analyzing how the WNBA and its players navigate these challenges. Success could inspire other women's leagues, from soccer to volleyball, from hockey to tennis, to demand equitable treatment and sustainable growth structures. A strong precedent may empower players across sports to fight for salaries that reflect their value, increased revenue shares, and guaranteed benefits, reshaping the landscape of professional women's sports worldwide. Conversely, perceived concessions or a lackluster agreement could signal to other leagues and investors that even in moments of cultural attention, women's professional sports are vulnerable to compromise, undervaluation, and fragile support. The world beyond the WNBA is observing, aware that the outcomes here will reverberate across stadiums, contracts, and locker rooms for years to come. As the deadline for negotiations approaches, the suspense intensifies. Every public statement, every social media post, and every strategic move becomes a piece of a larger chessboard. Fans, analysts, and media outlets are left speculating on the next move, the next compromise, and the ultimate resolution. The negotiation is a delicate dance between ambition and realism, between advocacy and diplomacy. For players, it is a test of unity, strategy, and resilience. For the league, it is a challenge in balancing financial sustainability with cultural relevance and moral responsibility. What hangs in the balance is nothing short of the future of the WNBA, its credibility, its visibility, and its ability to attract the next generation of players who will carry the league forward. Ultimately, the world waits, tense and invested, because the resolution of this negotiation will define more than just salaries. It will determine whether the WNBA solidifies its place as a sustainable, respected, and influential league. It will show whether ambition, fairness, and reality can coexist in a professional women's sports league, and whether the players' voices, shaped by talent, perseverance, and courage, can finally command the recognition they have earned. The stakes have never been higher, and the outcome will echo far beyond the basketball court, signaling either a historic leap forward or a missed opportunity in the ongoing fight for equality in sports.
Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more dives into Hollywood's hidden history.